Okay, so let's talk about food for your budgies. You've bought your budgie, you brought it home, now you need to feed it. First thing to keep in mind, budgies are incredibly picky eaters. If you thought a toddler was a fussy eater, they have nothing on a budgie. So when you first get your budgie, you're going to want to find out what kind of food they have been eating. Whether you're buying it from a pet store, from a breeder, whether you've gotten it from a buy and sell website in your local area, or from your local shelter, or from a rescue, you're going to want to know what that budgie has been eating. And make sure that you get that kind of food for them to begin with, to provide them something that's familiar, that you know they'll eat. Even if it's not the diet you've chosen that you want to provide for your birds, start with what they know. Start with what they're familiar. Gradually add the new food in with it, starting with maybe a 2/3 to 1/3 ratio, working it up to a 50/50, and just gradually add more and more of the new food and less of the old familiar food until finally they are switched over to the new diet. Now, there is no time frame on that process. That can be something that might take you a few weeks to do. It might take you years to do it, depending on your bird and just how fussy and stubborn they actually are. So be prepared. It may take you a long time and a lot of patience to get your birds switched over to a new diet, depending on what they're used to eating. Particularly if you're trying to switch them from a seed-only diet to a pellet diet, which is a very big switch. It could take a long time to actually complete that switch over 100%. So be prepared for that. So the first choice to make is, are you going to be doing a seed-based diet or a pellet-based diet? Here in North America, most people do choose to do a pellet-based diet. So here are a few examples of brands and types of pellets. One thing to keep in mind when choosing a brand to buy is the fact that not all brands are made equal. There is a variety of quality when it comes to your bird's food, so make sure you do some homework, do some research, and figure out what brands are good quality and which ones are basically junk food. Now, I don't have any pellet to show you, but I do have some bags of seed mix that I can show you right here. Now, I buy mostly this brand here. It's called Vitakraft. Now what I've chosen to do is actually mix 3 different seeds together to make what I feel is a pretty well-balanced diet. So the first one I get is this one here called Vitakraft Vita Smart Complete Nutrition. So this one actually does contain dried fruits and vegetables as well as pellets along with seed. So I do 1 bag of that. I also do 1 bag of this one, which is also a Vitakraft brand. This one's called Menu Care Complex. And again, as you can see, it's got seed, but it also does have the dried fruits and vegetables as well as some pellet. And then, just for the fun of it, I throw in a bag of this one. This is Brown's, and it's called Tropical Carnival. So it has all kinds of dried fruits and vegetables in it, as well as seed, as well as some pellet as well. So I use those 3 bags, those 3 types of seed mix, and combine them together to create a seed mix that I feed my birds. Now, Vitakraft is a brand that I use because it's readily available in my area. You're going to want to look around and see what is available in your area or what you can buy online and make your choice depending on that. Basically, as long as what you're feeding them is a quality food, it is a good diet. One of the big reasons why a lot of people choose a pellet diet over a seed diet is the fact that seed diets can be very fatty. They're a very rich diet. Now, in nature, yes, they eat seed, but they're also not getting the exercise they do in nature, so you want to take that into consideration when you're choosing your diet. Again, there isn't really a right or a wrong. A lot of people feel strongly on the topic, so do your homework, make your choice. So the last thing you want to consider when trying to decide on what a diet for your budgie is that, being a parrot, budgies need fresh fruits and vegetables just like all the other parrots do, which, because of its sugar, you want to limit the amount of fruit you're giving versus the amount of vegetables you give. You want to give a lot more vegetables than you do fruit, but fresh fruits are also very healthy for your budgies. Some people have chosen to do what's called a chopped diet, which is basically 100% raw fresh fruits and vegetables with seed or pellet being added as a side. So the majority of their diet is a fresh diet. You might choose that to be the right type of diet for your birds. It is, of course, a little bit more expensive going that route, and it will certainly take you more time to prepare, but you might decide that that is the type of diet you want to provide for your bird. So here's a list of some of the fruits and vegetables that are recommended to feed to budgies, that are safe to feed them, and that budgies tend to like. Now keep in mind, when you're offering fresh fruits and vegetables to your budgies for the first time, budgies are picky eaters. It will sometimes take you offering particular foods a number of times before the budgie will accept it as being something safe to eat, that they'll even go near it. Also, sometimes budgies are very particular about how foods are served. When I first introduced my budgies to carrot, they would only eat it if it was finely grated and mixed in with their seeds. After a while, they started to accept it in larger pieces, and now they're to the point where I can actually offer them a baby carrot on their kebab hanger, and they'll just chew it right off of there. I don't have to do anything to it other than give it a good wash. So be prepared that your budgie may not accept a new food the first time, particularly if your budgie is an older budgie. The older your budgie is, the more reluctant it is to try something new and unfamiliar. The younger your budgie is, the more success you will have. That being said, you can certainly get an older budgie to start eating fresh fruits and vegetables, even if it never has before. It just might take a little longer and a bit more effort on your part. So be prepared. Another type of food that you probably want to include in your bird's diet is an egg food supplement. This is one variety of egg food supplement. There are other variations on it, so take a look at what you can buy locally. This one is a dried egg food. My budgies prefer it moistened, so that's how I serve it to them. This again is Vitacraft, because it's a brand that's most easily found in my area, but there are a lot of different brands out there of egg food supplements. These are great supplements to provide to your birds on a semi-regular basis. They're full of really good minerals, vitamins, proteins that help your birds stay really healthy. So it's a really good supplement to add. Now, speaking of supplements, there are a lot of supplements that you need to think about. Two of the more basic supplements that you want to consider including in your bird's diet on a regular basis is, first of all, a mineral block. Now, there's lots of different types of mineral blocks on the market. This is just a very simple mineral block, plain white. But there's a lot of mineral blocks out there that are really fun and funky shapes and colors. Here's a picture of a few of the different varieties that you might want to consider getting for your birds. So you bought yourself a mineral block, you've got it in the cage, that's great. One more thing that you always want to have available to your birds in their cage is this little guy here. This is called a cuttle bone. It comes from the cuttlefish. These are used very widely for birds. They are an excellent source of calcium, which your birds need to stay healthy. So cuttle bones will often be sold in packages with a little wire clip that you can use to attach them to the cage. I found with my own personal experience was that my birds were very good at knocking that little wire clip off the cage, so I opted to actually buy a commercially made plastic cuttle bone holder. So this is a picture of the cuttle bone holder that I use. I chose to use this just because I found it was a little bit more secure. There are several styles of cuttle bone holders on the market, so shop around, take a look, see whether you like them. You can certainly start off by just using the metal clip that comes with your kettle bone and seeing if your birds will actually leave it on the cage. Like I said, I chose to get a commercially made holder because my birds were knocking theirs off. The other thing to consider is a vitamin supplement. Now, not everybody wants to do a vitamin supplement. Some people feel that it's not necessary, that it's forcing vitamins and minerals onto their birds. It's something you need to think about. It's something you need to do research on and make an educated decision. I've chosen to give them some of this. I don't give it to them on a daily basis. I give it to them every other day. This is a water-soluble version. It's a liquid that you add a drop or two of it into their water dish each day. Or in my case, I do it every other day. There are other ones that are more of a powder base that you mix it in with their food, some that you mix in with their food and their water. Again, do your research, see what's on the market, and decide if it's right for you and right for your birds. But this is another supplement that you might want to consider providing for your birds.